Oh, I'm sure Reddit would love that. Hey, what's up you guys, this is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, we're going to be chatting about the only 5 Warframes you actually need. Now, this idea was spawned from a previous live stream where we were discussing the fact that Warframe is only truly free to play up to a certain point, with slots being the biggest culprit, holding players back from experiencing the full diverse range of loadouts that are available in the game. Now, clearly today we're only going to be talking about Warframe slots. However, as you guys know, we start off with 2 initially, as well as 50 plat. If I remember correctly from when I started Warframe about 10 million years ago. Things might have changed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you still get that 50 when you start things up. Now, of course, Warframe slots cost 20 plat apiece, so you should be able to pick up 2 additional slots off of that. Then, as Nightwaves were introduced, you're actually able to earn an additional Warframe slot off of that as well, which brings us to the nice round number 5, because it would have been a really weird video title if I only said 4. Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and share the only 5 Warframes I feel that I actually need in order to play the game. However, I do invite you guys to share the 5 Warframes that you feel you need to play down in the comments below. However, do hold your horses, don't jump the gun there, because I want you to approach this as if the only 5 Warframes you get are those, and you need to be able to play everything from the star chart up into arbitrations, into eidolons and orbs, and all of that. So definitely keep that in mind when you're filling out your own roster below. Now hold on one second. Sassy disclaimer Rob here. Yes, the more attractive cousin of future Rob that occasionally pops into these videos. However, I had to come on down mainly because of the fact that I could feel some people reaching for their keyboards, about to leave a comment along the lines of, "What are you talking about? Warframe is only free to play up to a certain point. Haven't you heard that you can trade with other players for plat? Don't you know that if you go to this node and you start farming this specific relic, just make sure that you radiant it first, or you can go over here to this place and try to get this mod and then go up to Warframe Market." I'm gonna need you to pause right there. See, the big thing that I believe in is time is money. And in this day and age, there are so many players that just don't have the time to spend to do any of these things, like single parents, people with full-time jobs that are extremely stressful, or students that are burying their heads in books. So free time is not always available to farm all of these items out there. And to be honest with you, sitting in a mission hoping that RNG grants you the appropriate blueprint that is actually gonna get you some plat, then taking it into the market and trying to get a fair deal out of it, and not just trying to get a cash grab from somebody who is stockpiling all of those items so that they can go ahead and resell it on Warframe Market, that can be extremely stressful and extremely time consuming. And honestly, it takes away from the actual play of the game that people want to do, right? You're here to play the game and enjoy the game, not spend your time farming items that you don't need in the hopes of getting some form of plat from it. Like, it takes away from the fact that maybe you want to go ahead and clear out the star chart, or maybe you want to play with your friends that are going to be doing something that has nothing to do with farming whatsoever. And that's why I say very specifically in this instance, time is money. Alright? And Warframe ain't paying you plat by the hour to play whatever the hell you want. So I'm not counting that as a legitimate argument, okay? So let's go ahead and pass it back to Past Rob, and we're gonna go take a look at those 5 Warframes, okay? Be good. Boop! Alrighty, now before we jump in, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of perspective as to how I approached my list. Like I said, I went ahead and took a look at all of Warframe, all of the different mission types, all of the progression you'd have to go through, all of the grinding that you would need to take on, and then I went ahead and passed up some of the more niche Warframes for Warframes that could fill those slots quite well, but also could take on multiple categories. So one of the big Warframes that's out there that is absolutely amazing at taking down eidolon joints and one-shotting with specific loadouts, especially if you got some good ribbons, is Chroma. However, I felt like he was a little too specialized, and while he's great at that, didn't really feel like he was absolutely necessary for any of the other parts on the list. He might be fun, and I'm sure that some of you guys absolutely do love him. However, for me personally, I thought that he wasn't as good at doing multiple things as some of the other Warframes you're about to see. So since we were talking about hunts, let's kick things off with my favorite hunter of the bunch, which of course is Oberon. Now, as many of you guys know, a lot of my Eidolon and Orb hunts are all done either live on stream or in public missions, which kind of means that I don't really know what I'm gonna end up running into, and Oberon is one of the best Warframes at supporting a group. And he does it quite set it and forget it, which I love. He's got a great armor buff on him, and he's also got healing over time, which I love because that means that I don't actually have to pay attention to their health bars. I just have to trust that they know maybe you should dodge occasionally and get that health back. In addition, if I really felt like being of help, or if you guys wanted to do it, you can go ahead and toss on Iron Phoenix to be able to save somebody from a death every minute. Now, if they're dying more than once a minute, then, you know, that's going to be their own issue. You tried. You did the best you could. In addition to all that, he grants status immunity in the easiest way possible. There's no weird finicky targeting because there are a couple other frames that can do it, but if you just lay down a big old patch of grass, or maybe even multiple patches of grass, like a whole field of them, and you're just like, stand here, bitch. You did your job, and you don't have to stress. You've been a good Oberon, which always makes me feel very helpful, but also with the least amount of effort, and I absolutely love that. In addition, he's also got some CC to him because of all of those patches having a chance to proc radiation. His first ability can also proc radiation, and his ultimate strips enemy armor. So there are just so many things that Oberon is really, really good at. He's a solid support, and with the right loadout, he can be quite offensive as well. So we've got the team support, we've got the Eidolon hunting, we've got the armor stripping for higher level stuff. We're feeling pretty good about this pick. Moving along, we have another support frame, but a very different kind of support. Yes, it is financial support from Necrose. Now, as many of you guys know, Desecrate is an absolutely amazing ability that can get you more health orbs, can get you more mods, can get you more credits. You have a chance at re-rolling any loot that is available to you with Necrose, which is definitely a big benefit to you as you're farming your way through your game. Or maybe a new mod releases and you absolutely need to get another roll at the potentiality of that rare mod. Necrose is there to help you out. But it doesn't just stop there. He's also absolutely fantastic for survivals. And you guys know, I like me a good old-fashioned extended run. So having Necrose come through and start desecrating all of those bodies to get you extra life support, to give you just a little bit of extra buffer is always nice. Now, of course, it doesn't just stop there. I have a specific, I believe I called it the Shield of the Dead, or Desecrate Shield, I don't know. I'll leave a link up there in the corner. It's one of my favorite builds out there. It's one of the most mechanically complex builds, but it makes him very, very tanky, and all of his little mobs can also put out a shit ton of damage as well. So you've got defense and offense all in one, plus he's got some great CC when it comes to Terrify to be able to go ahead and push enemies away and also strip off some of their armor. Are you seeing a little trend that I've got going on here? So great for survival, great for defense, great for interception. Anything that's escalating, I'm really, really happy to bring along a Necrose. Now, since we're on the topic of extended runs, my next frame is actually 2 frames. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a poll up in the corner so that you guys can help me decide which one stays on my list. But of course, I could not do this list without the Queens of Stealth, Avara and Octavia. Now, as you guys know, I love me a good extended solo survival. I just want to tune out the rest of the world and don't want to deal with anything else. And both of these frames are exceptionally good at them, and they both approach them in very different ways. Now, I'll actually go ahead and leave a link up in the corner as well to the 60 minutes later video that I did for both of these frames showing how I use them in extended runs. Of course, there have been little tweaks and changes to their kits since then, so it might perform a little bit differently now, but the thing for me is they both offer very different playstyles outside of those solo runs. Now, Avara is amazing for Spy, like legitimately, I just want easy mode, and Avara is legit easy mode for Spy, and you'll notice that the rest of the frames that I have on this list aren't necessarily specifically tailored for that, but she can do it really, really well. She's got pretty decent CC when it comes to her sleep bow, and it's also really key for her to do like her finishing attacks using covert lethality with her daggers to get really fast kills on high level targets. So she's great on that. And there are certain Riven challenges, you know, the one where you do the 5-minute survival and you're not supposed to kill anybody. She's great for that. I really, really love her for that. Octavia on the other end of the spectrum, she's got great group buffs. She can really like hold out specific areas using her thumper. She can also go ahead and do some CC with her little rollerball and her thumper combo. So it's very, very fun when it comes to Octavia, and you get to play around with music. I think that both of them are absolutely fantastic in their own ways. And when you guys choose for me, I want you to be very aware of the other Warframes I have on this list, because again, we can only have 5 and I have to play the entire game with just these 5 Warframes. So Avara, Octavia, both of them are absolutely fantastic, and I need at least one of them on my roster. So we addressed the Queens of Stealth. However, there is one more queen left on this list, and I want you guys to take a quick pause and think real hard about the one female Warframe that can really fill multiple roles, is a powerhouse, and a fucking fashion icon. Yes, of course, it is a Miss Saren. Not only does she have a slew of skins at her whim, but she is also a master at grinding out focus, which is one of the few progression mechanics that we have in game. She can just stockpile tons and tons of focus. She is the master of ESO, and one of the big reasons that I went ahead and put her on this list is because I also wanted to find a great debuffer frame for group extended runs. So in my head, I was thinking, all right, Nova is really, really fantastic for that. She's got some really great CC that slows down enemies and makes it harder for them to get to you. Or maybe we could use Banshee because she could layer up all of her sonars and we deal insane amounts of damage on there. But Saren filled so many roles at once that I was just like, if I got Saren, anybody else could be using one of those other Warframes, and we Gucci. She could put out a crap ton of damage and also wear away at enemy armor. And if there's anything big and ugly coming our way, toss a little bit of viral on that too with her ulti and just half their health. What? That is absolutely insane. And do it all while you're in multiple outfits. Just change it out each round. She is so freaking good. And if you see her numbers in places like ESO, it's just mind-boggling. So not only does she have the damage, not only does she have the debuffs, not only does she just have the scaling and the overall look, she's just the entire package when it comes to addressing so many things in Warframe, especially that focus. Let me tell you right now, those days, Saren just spreading her spores, getting them all them kills, and racking up 60, 70k in a public mission. Because let me tell you, people like, and don't get me wrong, I considered Equinox too, but Equinox is absolutely fucking fantastic for stealth farms. You can get so much focus with her, but Saren can do it in a public mission without really sweating too hard about it. Right? You don't have to try to go in solo. You don't have to be on your best behavior. You just put out some spores, let them run, do some killing, make sure they spread, and you know, look good while you're doing it. So Saren definitely had to be on my list. My voice went really, really deep there, and I hope that the mic picked it up. Alrighty, and finally we arrive at the last Warframe on my list. But before we do, I want to address the fact that this list wasn't ordered in level of importance whatsoever. I know that I just got really hyped over Saren, and that's kind of because she's marvelous. But honestly, I just smushed things together in ways that I felt were conversational, and I hope that makes sense. But this next Warframe, if you didn't see him coming, it's probably because, yes, of course it's Loki. You knew it was Loki, didn't you? And I know that there are some of you guys out there that are cringing. They're like, you already have a stealth frame on the list. There is no need for you to pick Loki. But I kind of want to say that, yeah, he's a stealth frame, but I don't necessarily look at him like that. To me, he is my comfortable convenience frame. If there is a new mission type that I don't know anything about, I send Loki. If there's a mission that I need to get done quick, I send Loki. If I have no idea who I want to play, I send Loki. And no matter what, things work out quite well because Loki can do so many different things. You know, if you're taking on Infested, you could go invisible and you can use that stealth multiplier to do shit tons of damage. If you're fighting the Corpus or the Grineer or the Corrupted, you can irradiating disarm and like get rid of the weapons in their hands and then use armor bypassing hullabaloo to go ahead and take them down. There's so many things that you could do with Loki. You could jump into a capture mission, take on that target and zoom out. The fact that he is so flexible and can fill so many different slots is one of the big reasons why I go to him over and over and over again. And one of the big things that I love about Loki so much is I can go into the plains or I can go into the Orb Valis and I can use invisibility while I fish or while I mine. Well, actually more while I mine, because I don't really like to fish, and you can't do it while you fish because that's going to throw out bait. But while you mine, which is the important part that I actually enjoy, and not be bothered. Because Loki is the frame that says, bye-bye, don't want to deal with you today. And you know what? That's a mood that I can get on board with. Now, clearly, this spot is kind of like a free slot for you guys to play around with. Well, really, all of the slots are free for you to play around with. Play with all your slots day in and day out. But legitimately, if Loki wasn't around, I was thinking of something like Mesa because she's a big fucking powerhouse. She can tank a lot of things and she can maybe almost never die. We also have Neja, who's a lot of fun. As you guys know, I love his pyroclastic flow because it's a little kick. He's got good CC. He can support the team with all of his spikes and his little disc. Like, he's got debuffs on there. He's really fun, and Fashion Frame on him is gorgeous. And then, of course, there's Revenant. If I don't feel like turning my brain on and I just don't want to die in an arbitration, go ahead and toss him in the mix too. But at the end of the day, when I want something comfortable and convenient to go back to, it's always going to be my Loki. So I'm sure that some of you guys out there aren't surprised whatsoever, because you know that in my heart, that's where it lies, in the little trickster god that could. Regardless, go ahead and leave the 5 Warframes that you think you can take Warframe on with, and no other Warframes. Just those 5. Just those 5. Leave them down in the comments below. Don't argue with me about my list, because I'm very happy with mine. So enjoy yours, alright? But that does about do it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your Loki. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye! My arm hurts. My foot to sleep.